Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Saturday, May the 11th. In this video, I'm just going to cover the Saturday night slate, the 8 games at night. There is an early slate today, but I'll just be looking at the night slate. And I'm getting a video out for Saturday because I didn't really have much to do Friday night. Figured I'd make a video for Saturday. I do plan on playing the Saturday slate. So like always, we'll start off at pitching. We'll work our way through the pitcher-player pool, talk about some of the pitchers I like on tonight's slate. Then we'll go over some hitters I'll be targeting. We'll look at stacks, and then we'll look at BVP plays towards the end of the video. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. So starting off at the top of the pitcher-player pool, Jacob deGrom, most expensive option on Saturday night. $11K on DraftKings, and also the most expensive pitcher on Yahoo. He's at $59. So it's hard not to like deGrom here. At home against the Marlins, he clearly stands out as the best pitching option on this slate. The Marlins, obviously a team that just is not good offensively, just not a lot of good hitters in this lineup. There are strikeouts here as well for deGrom, and just a 2.4 implied run total for the Marlins, which is the lowest on the slate by a pretty wide margin. deGrom is in such a good spot. He absolutely dominated earlier this year when he faced the Marlins. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 14 strikeouts the last time he played the Marlins, 45 DraftKings points. deGrom has that kind of upside in this matchup, so he's the pitcher I want to pay up for on both sides. $11K on DraftKings, $59 on Yahoo. Going to be starting a lot of my lineups with deGrom for this Saturday night slate. There are obviously pivots you could look to. You have Garrett Cole for $300 less in a matchup at home against the Rangers. You have Max Scherzer for $600 less in a matchup with the Dodgers. But if we're talking about optimal plays, cash games, I think you just want to pay up for deGrom. In tournaments, if you want to pivot off of him to a guy like Cole or Scherzer, you could do that because I imagine those two guys will come in a lot lower owned than Jacob deGrom will. But even so, I still think deGrom is clearly the best play on this slate, and I think he clearly has the most upside. Cole's matchup is pretty decent at home against the Rangers. There are strikeouts in this Rangers lineup. Cole does have plenty of upside here. Max Scherzer, on the other hand, though, I'm a little bit worried about against the Dodgers. Really good Dodgers lineup, not a ton of strikeouts either. Pretty tough spot for Max Scherzer. So if I were to pivot off of deGrom to someone, it would probably be Garrett Cole. Max Scherzer might just be a guy that I kind of avoid on this main slate. But then looking for pitching to pair with deGrom, that's where it gets pretty tricky. A lot of guys you want to play with deGrom are expensive, like maybe DeSclafani against the Giants, Zach Eflin against the Royals, John Gray against the Padres, Jeff Samardzija against the Reds. These are the kind of guys that you want to look to play with deGrom. But if we're just talking about value at pitcher, trying to find a cheap guy, there's really no cheap guys that I'm in love with. I think the guy you could consider, I guess, would be Sandy Alcantara at $6K against the Mets. He would be like the, I guess, quote-unquote best value pitcher. But even then, I still don't feel very safe with Alcantara, even though it's against the Mets. So I do want to try and spin up a pitcher as much as I can today. There are some value bats I like. So I'll be looking to a guy like John Gray to pair with deGrom. You play deGrom and Gray together, that leaves you $38.50 remaining on DraftKings, which you can definitely work with. If we look at Yahoo's pricing, I think John Gray is a good play over here as well. He's at $38, same price as DeSclafani. I expect a lot of people are going to go to DeSclafani, so you'll get John Gray at pretty low ownership, in my opinion, on Yahoo, and I think he's a really good play over there as well. So even though John Gray is pitching in cores, I think this is a really good spot for him. He's going to be facing a Padres lineup that's projected to roll out 7 righties, and the only 2 lefties in the lineup are Eric Hosmer and the pitcher. So John Gray going to have the advantage on a lot of these right-handed bats. Gray does get a lot of strikeouts versus righties. He's much worse versus lefties, but like I said, there's only 2 lefties in the lineup for the Padres. John Gray has shown the ability to have success even though he's pitching in Coors Field. He can go out there and dominate even though he's in Coors. Since he is in Coors, he's probably going to come in a little bit lower owned than he should be, which makes me even more interested in him. Really like John Gray here, facing a righty-heavy Padres lineup. I think he's in a pretty good spot today. And then there's those guys I talked about like DeSclafani, Eflin, Samardzija. Those are guys you could look to. Samardzija 8K would probably be my least favorite. He's just too expensive in my opinion, even though he's at home against the Reds. If you want to pivot off of Gray, your probably next best option is either DeSclafani or Zach Eflin. And then for value pitchers, the guy I did want to mention was Alcantara, 6K. If I just want to pay it for deGrom and then fit in an expensive stack as well, maybe I'll play a guy like Alcantara for this really cheap price that will allow me to do that. But like I said, I think I'm going to be trying to really prioritize the expensive pitching today, spending a lot of my salary at pitching, and then sort of finding value stacks and value bats that I like. And there is a value stack that I do like, which obviously has value bats in it. We don't have a run total on this game right now. It's a doubleheader, actually. The Tigers and the Twins, I think, are playing a doubleheader today. The game 2 is at 8 o'clock, and then I think game 1's earlier on in the day. For this doubleheader, we're going to have Cole Stewart and Gregory Soto going up against each other. This is a really good spot for the Tigers, in my opinion, versus Cole Stewart. This dude has not shown the ability to really succeed in the majors. He's made one start this year, and he got absolutely blown up by Houston. I think we could see Cole Stewart really struggle again, even though it's a much better matchup for him. This Tigers team still does have good lefties that can hit righties well. Specifically, Nico Goodrum, Christian Stewart, two guys I really like atop of this Tigers lineup. Goodrum and Stewart are both very cheap on both sites. Goodrum's $3,800 on DraftKings, and Stewart is $4K on DraftKings. Both are pretty reasonably priced. Then if we go over to Yahoo, Stewart is at $14 and Nico Goodrum is at $12. So I think the Tigers are in a really good spot here. They allow you to fit in the expensive pitching that you want on today's slate, and they do have a lot of upside in this matchup with Stewart. Like I said, Stewart just not a good pitcher. Let's pull up his game log. Look at that game earlier this year against Houston. He was able to pitch 6 innings, but he got blown up. 8 hits, 5 runs, 2 homers, 3 walks, only 1 strikeout. Stewart's not a guy that's going to get strikeouts. He's going to pitch in the zone, allow you to hit the ball. So guys like Goodrum and Stewart, when they do hit the ball, they can hit it over the fence. They have a lot of power. I think this Tigers lineup is in a really good spot here, and I love stacking them on DraftKings. You just look at the pricing. Goodrum $3,800, Stewart $4K, Nick Castellanos I think is a great play today at $4,200, Miguel Cabrera really good value play at $3,700, Ronnie Rodriguez $4,300, Candelario $3,200. Just so much value in this Tigers lineup and plenty of upside here versus a very bad pitcher. So I will definitely be looking to stack up the Tigers today to go with my expensive pitching. And then to fill out my 5 plays for DraftKings and Yahoo. So for DraftKings, I like going to a guy like Jose Altuve at $4,300. Should be facing Drew Smyly here for the Rangers. Drew Smyly, not a good pitcher, not a guy that I really believe in. This is definitely a guy that we can attack. Altuve I love on DK where he's just $4,300. I know he hasn't been hitting the ball that well lately, but this is still a guy that has a ton of power. He's one of the better hitters in the league. He's going to make contact. He's not going to strike out much. And Drew Smyly's not a pitcher that's really going to go out there and get strikeouts. He's going to allow you to hit the ball. So I think this is a great spot for some of these Astros bats. Some of them are nicely priced as well, like obviously Altuve at $4,300, but Bregman at $4,900, Carlos Correa $4,600, JJ Redick $3,700, Gurriel $3,500. Plenty of value in this Astros lineup as well, so I think they make for a pretty good secondary stack to go along with Detroit. Then going over to Yahoo, you can definitely play Altuve over here, but he is a bit expensive at $19. He's one of the more expensive second basemen. You could probably look elsewhere. So to fill out my Yahoo plays, my 5th play for Yahoo, I really like Mark Reynolds at just $9. I'm assuming he's going to be in the lineup today. He was not in the lineup Friday night, which was kind of disappointing. I really liked him against Eric Lauer. We're going to have another lefty on the mound for the Padres, Joey Lucchesi. A much better pitcher than Eric Lauer is, but still a guy that should struggle here. It's in Coors Field, one of the best hitters parks. This Rockies lineup does have a lot of righties that can hit lefties well, and that have hit lefties well this year. Obviously Story and Arenado, but Mark Reynolds I think is a pretty good play. Ian Desmond I think is a pretty good play. If you want to go to Garrett Hampson, you can look to him as well. Chris Iannetta should be in the lineup over Tony Walters, so Iannetta's a catcher that you could look to. I really like the Rockies again. I stacked them up quite a bit on Friday night. I'm going to be going right back to them. Mark Reynolds I absolutely love on both sides, especially on Yahoo where he's just $9. He definitely stands out over there. But these are my 5 plays for Yahoo and my 5 plays for DraftKings. Now let's talk about some stacks I'll be going to on tonight's slate before we end the video. So I think my favorite stack, especially when you factor in their pricing, is the Tigers here. Really like the Tigers versus Cole Stewart. I think they are in a very good spot today. On DraftKings, looking at their pricing, I really like the Astros bats versus Drew Smyly. I think that's a team you could definitely look to. I think the Rockies are also in a pretty good spot versus Joey Lucchesi. Once we get some run totals on this game, I imagine we're going to see the Rockies with another pretty high total. So they're a team you can look to stack up. I think the Twins also versus Gregory Soto make a lot of sense depending on what kind of lineup the Twins roll out for this doubleheader, if it's anywhere near this projected lineup, guys like Garver, Polanco, Cruz, Rosario, Gonzalez, Cron, I think these guys make a lot of sense as stacks today. But mainly the Tigers, the Astros, the Rockies. Those are the teams I'm really going to focus on this night slate. I'll throw in a little bit of Phillies maybe. I'll throw in a little bit of Twins. But the three teams I mentioned, those are the three teams I do like the most. But now let's talk about some BVP. There are a couple BVP plays I want to hit on before we end the video. So starting off, Trevor Story, 3 for 12 with a home run off Joey Lucchesi. Nolan Arenado, 5 for 13 with the home run off Lucchesi. Jose Altuve, 5 for 13 with the home run off Drew Smiley. Michael Brantley, 5 for 15. Will Myers, 11 for 28, 2 home runs off of John Gray. Manny Machado, 3 for 10 with a home run off of Gray. Joey Gallo, 4 for 16, 3 home runs off of Garrett Cole. Shin-Soo Choo, 4 for 13 with a home run off of Cole. And Elvis Andrus, 4 for 12 off Garrett Cole. So those are all the BVP plays for this night slate, guys. I think that is it for the video. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, just make sure you click that like button down below before you get out of here. I would really appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel, if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button down below as well. It would definitely help me out. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Or you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments, or you can message me on Twitter. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.